Today I'm going to dive into the Annihilator Midnight Prepatch Vengeance Demon Hunter. Now that I've had a chance to learn a little more how to modify my Vengeance Demon Hunter playstyle to match the intent of the Annihilator hero talent, I wanted to share my overview of the talent spec and how Vengeance Demon Hunter playstyle has been affected, at least for the pre-patch. Voidfall is the core talent. Fracture has a chance to grant a stack of Voidfall, and at 3 stacks your Soul Cleave will call down a Shadow Flame Meteor. This means that your single target builder has a chance to generate a stack for your hero talent. Your Voidfall Meteors are actively modified by the following hero talents. First, you've got Mass Acceleration. You get 3 stacks of Voidfall when you activate Metamorphosis. And second is your Meteoric Fall. You call down all 3 meteors at 3 stacks when you Soul Cleave or you Spirit Bomb. The Voidfall meteors are passively modified by the remainder of the hero talents. First, you've got Catastrophe. Enemies struck by a meteor take an additional 25% of the damage over time. Second, I take Harness the Cosmos Choice Node. Meteors do 15% increased damage. I take this over Doomsayer because typically I don't feel like I leave combat enough times during a Mythic Plus dungeon or ever in Raid to make it worth taking Doomsayer. Third, Otherworldly Focus. Spirit Bomb and Voidfall meteors deal increased damage to fewer targets. And last is World Killer. The third meteor strike deals extra damage and gives 10 seconds of CDR on meta. So the natural flow of this hero talent will be to do your normal rotation, where you Fracture to build Fury and Soul Fragments, and spend Fury with your Soul Cleave or Spirit Bomb on cooldown. The meteors will fall as you get Voidfall to 3 stacks, so in general, keep doing your normal rotation. I found that the Voidfall meteors will do about 1/3 of your overall damage anyways. However, the interaction to keep in mind as you play Annihilator is that meta resets your Spirit Bomb and gives 3 Voidfall stacks due to Mass Acceleration. In an optimal situation, you want to cast meta as it comes off cooldown, right after you've used Spirit Bomb and dropped your meteors. Voidfall only stacks to 3, so using your meta while you're at 2 stacks or while Spirit Bomb is close to coming off cooldown will reduce the effectiveness of your Mass Acceleration talent. With the talents that I typically use and the simplification that's happened with the pre-patch, the only other specific talent interaction I keep in mind is with Fiery Brand. In addition to its defensive ability, it has the following offensive interactions. Fiery Demise increases your fire damage to affected targets. Burning Alive spreads Fiery Brand to nearby targets. Charred Flesh causes Immolation Aura to increase the duration of your Fiery Brand. And Down in Flames reduces the cooldown and provides an additional charge. Your Voidfall meteors do Shadow Flame damage, which does interact with this, increasing the damage from them while Fiery Brand is active. In Vengeance Demon Hunter's current state, I found that I'm typically Fury starved, meaning that I'm more often capped on Soul Fragments than I have the ability to Soul Cleave or Spirit Bomb to consume them. This may get better when we're able to reset Spirit Bomb with Apex talents later and getting free metas, but during the pre-patch, this is what I found. While doing your normal builders by keeping Immolation Aura up, Fellblading on cooldown, and fracturing your enemies, then spending Fury by using your Soul Cleaves and Spirit Bombs on cooldown, you'll need to make sure you're weaving in your other cooldowns by keeping them on cooldown as much as possible. So Sigil of Flame, at least 1 Fiery Brand charge, Fell Devastation, Sigil of Spite, Meta need to be kept on cooldown as much as possible, keeping in mind the interactions that I've just talked about. With the Annihilator Vengeance Demon Hunter relying on getting stacks of Voidfall and using meta more often to have more meteors drop, you want to maximize your Mass Acceleration talent node by getting 5 Soul Fragments out, popping Spirit Bomb, and then Soul Cleave to drop meteors as quickly as possible. I found this to be my typical opener. So leading into the pull, you're going to drop your Sigil of Flame, and then you're going to Infernal Strike and press Immolation Aura on your way over. Then you're going to press Fiery Brand and let it start spreading. Fracture, Fell Blade, Fell Devastation. Let that fully cast so you get to 5 fragments. Then you're going to Soul Bomb with those 5 Soul Fragments. Then you're going to press Meta, Soul Cleave to drop your Voidfall Meteors, Fracture, Sigil of Spite, and then Soul Bomb again with another 5 Soul Fragments. This will get your first 3 meteors to drop while you're getting your cooldowns rolling and extending your duration of your Fire Brand for increased fire damage on your targets, and 2 max Spirit Bombs. Then you can continue on with your normal rotation. Remember, you only gain Voidfall stacks from Fracture until metas come off cooldown again. Mechanically speaking, the pre-patch simplified Vengeance Demon Hunter. Applying Frailty is easy and no longer needs to be stacked, with the Annihilator talents only having 1 talent interaction between meta and Voidfall to work around, and the normal Vengeance talents only having the interaction between Fiery Brand, Immolation Aura, and Sigil of Flame. The core gameplay of Vengeance Demon Hunter feels fine. The meteors from Voidfall, Catastrophe, and World Killer do amazing damage, with the damage doing about 1/3 of your overall. The drawback to using the Annihilator talent builds is in order to generate Voidfall meteor stacks, you either need to press meta or use Fracture, which is single target. So one of the most tricky parts about playing any tank is generating threat before the DPS in the group blow up, rip aggro, and hug the floor. So popping your CDs on pull to keep the aggro while you build into your Voidfall rotation is key with Fiery Brand, Fell Devastation, Spirit Bomb, Meta, Sigil of Flame, and Sigil of Spite. There's an incentive built into the talents to press meta to get your meteors out quickly, however popping meta on pull wastes a potential cast of Spirit Bomb by resetting its CD. So if you can get 5 soul fragments out quickly through 1 fracture and a Fell Devastation to build up to 5 soul fragments, Spirit Bomb and then meta, you'll be fine. The playstyle's fairly consistent damage without having any spike damage outside of your meteors falling. I'll say my only complaint is, aesthetically speaking, the meteors aren't very stimulating or eye-catching with the other effects going on. However, outside of the visuals, I think the agency that we'll find in dropping meteors as we get our Apex talents and working with our cooldowns will create a more engaging rotation as we reach max level in Midnight. Let me know if you found this helpful, and see you in Midnight.